Another great time. The Super Bowl passed, and Colorado looks like they've got some potential here. Let's talk about all that here on the Prime Time for College Football, a Hog Media production presented by Sleeper. Your host, Jay. Thanks for pulling up here on the YouTube channel and listening wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to while you're here. Go ahead, wipe your feet, and like, subscribe, rate, review. Give us 5 stars. I don't think we deserve it. Kind of give us 5 anyway and gift it. So me and Dukes are going to jump on the pod. We got some things to talk about. We're going to start off with the conversation around the running back room for the Buffs. And Dukes had a good conversation with offensive coordinator Brennan Marion. Talk about Coach Prime shooting down the chances of going to the NFL, and he explains why. We'll wrap things up talking about the Super Bowl this past weekend and kind of what it means for quarterbacks in college football, which honestly really shows a good indication and maturity on Julian Lewis. So we appreciate y'all joining us per the norm. I don't know, per the norm, but per the norm. Let's jump right into the conversation with our boy Duke. Y'all know what it is. Got some ball talk. Your boy Jay. We got Dukes the Scoop. Check him out on YouTube, Dukes the Scoop. Follow him there, as well as all on the socials. You can follow me, Jay. Follow me at Unfair Sports, as well as Prime Time for College Football. Dukes, what's good, man? It's post Super Bowl. It's off season. It's official. It's like the second week going into the off season, right? You had National Signing Day, the official date last week, and so now we're gonna put this content out for these people, man. What's been good with you?
Oh man, just staying out the way, man. Just doing whatever. Hey, staying out the way, man. And shoot, man, just been grinding it out, man. February is usually a slow month for a content creator, so the only way that we can combat a naturally slow month with the end of football is content and working hard. So that's what we're doing right now. We're grinding it out.
Grinding it out, man. Yeah, so, you're going to see early previews, super early previews before spring. So make sure you check out both channels here on Primetime College Football. Just search for me here, as well as Dukes the Scoop. We'll have a bunch of stuff, interviews, conversations. Dukes, you got an interview with Brennan Marion that went up earlier, and I'm excited about going to sit down and watch that. Definitely make sure y'all check that out as well. But we got a few things to talk about. We'll give y'all we'll talk Super Bowl at the end. So if you want to stick around to hear that, definitely do that. Hit the like, subscribe, and bell notification on both channels. We'll also talk about Coach Prime basically saying hell no to the NFL and why. But we're going to open with this, though. Super Bowl parties was going on all weekend, and I had noticed that Colorado had the running back room. Johnny Mack posted a picture, Super Bowl watch party with the RBs. And Dukes, somebody caught your attention in that. We got to talk about that, man.
Man, what? Man, talking about security? Man, anytime. So if you look to the far right, that's a running back. Looks like he could play any. Yeah, exactly, man. Looks like he could play multiple positions. And he probably could. Johnny Mack I'm about 5'8", 5'9". Johnny Mack is about my size. This guy is clearly way bigger than that. This guy, Richard Young, is a unit. All right. Secondly, what I like, and then you see Damian Henderson in the back. You see, you got multiple guys. You see Trackhawk there.
Yep.
But what I like about this room is the versatility. But on Richard Young's, from his perspective, at Alabama, so people, I tweeted that, and I'm like, man, when your running backs kind of look like, personal security, that's usually a good sign.
Yep.
Well, with Richard Young, what I did was, sometimes I just want to look. I went surfing for comments because, people were saying, oh, well, we don't know who he is because he didn't start at Alabama. He didn't have this many yards. And what I like to remind people is that, and I'm going to say it probably from now until football, is that this guy he started the season last year at Alabama. He won the job in the fall. They had a jam, had a injury. This was the first guy up. Never really regained that momentum. A guy that Alabama really did not want to lose. Tons of potential. When you go, he just talked to Alabama fans. They just felt like he needed to get more carries. He never was able to get into a rhythm. And that happens when you go to schools like Alabama where they recruit multiple 5-stars in the same room. One of the greatest compliments I ever heard given to a running back was a defensive coordinator saying that Jaquez Hunter, formerly of Auburn, came with a guard, right? It's like, hey, bro, he comes with a guard, which means that he runs so hard and so violently. It's like there's somebody blocking for him when you have to tackle him. Richard Young has some of that same violence when he runs. You see the size that he has. You see how, and then you go back and you look at the speed,
Yep.
and the way he's built, even from the feet up, powerfully built, no chicken legs,
Yeah.
not missing leg day. This is who he is as a person. So I'm really excited to see Richard Young, and then you look at Damian Henderson kind of towering in the back. That's your 6'2" running back. So he's even taller than Richard Young. So I think you got a real live mix of what you can do in the running back room, and then when you have a guy like Coach Mack who can teach about squeezing through holes as far as vision, setting yourself up properly, whether you're a big back or you're a smaller back, being able to teach small backs how to run with the chip on their shoulder, and teaching bigger backs that, hey, once you get through lowering your shoulder, you still have to have the vision of a smaller back. By being able to combine those two elements, I think this running back room is going to be very complete this year.
Yeah, we talked about it before that was the biggest Achilles heel for Colorado. Since they've been here, since Prime and them have been here in Boulder, has been just haven't been able to establish the run game. They haven't been able to get consistent run game. Whenever you saw Simeon Price start to get going, he gets hurt, and so then you don't really get to leverage him anymore. Michael Welch, you didn't get consistency of someone being able to be a back that could just play every single down and feel comfortable. You had to switch it up a lot, and then so rhythms didn't happen, and that was the biggest thing with him was like you said, Richard Young. He got the starting job initially, and he was out there going and. He started dealing with some things as well, but at his size and his power, I mean, heck, none of the Alabama running backs were able to really establish anything after he basically came out. And so it was like, I was kind of curious as to why they didn't play him more. But I mean, at his size, like I said, roughly they say 5'11", he might be closer to 6 feet, but he's at least 220 and he's a big boy. And that's what you want when you're going up against these big defenses that the Buffs are going to have to deal with this season. You want some big body guys that could run, not only find the hole, like I said, having a guard with you. That's a great metaphor on how these power backs can run, because it appears that somebody else is blocking for him when he's tossing dudes to the side. But when I saw the picture, when I saw that come up, I was like, ain't no way that's a real human being. I was like, oh wait a minute, that is Richard Young. I remember him as a recruit.
Right,
dude's huge. Like there should be laws against people being that big. Right? And playing collegiate ball. But outside of that, though, man, like I'm looking at this, and this actually leads back to that conversation that you had with Brennan Marion. Like I said, I can't wait to watch it. Check it out over there on Deuce to Scoop. Like how does he envision using his running backs in his system while here in the Big 12? Because this is different, right? Big 12. I mean, he's at Texas, and as wide receiver coach, so he has a good understanding of that, but. Like now it's that go-go offense can make them really go and really tire out these defenses. But I'm curious to how he's going to leverage Richard with everybody else on offense.
What I would say from our interview, he talked about the go-go offense being scalable. You seen it work at HBCU beating a G5 school. You seen it at Sacramento State give people problems. You saw it at UNLV when it making it to the conference championship with with a quarterback that you didn't plan to go into the season with. So I guess the scalability of it and knowing that, hey, look, this offense works. All I have to do is create spots. And if people take what their reps and do the most with it, I think he had a saying that he said, it's not about the reps that you get, it's about what you get out of it. It's not the reps you get, but what you get out of your reps, or some in that vein, where he's going to give everybody an opportunity. So everybody in that picture is going to have an opportunity, and how you practice and how you perform in the games. What do you do when you're not getting the ball? All of those elements are going to be important. And I think that it's bad. So it's almost like a triple option and an option choice on a perimeter. So it's like it combines like an old school triple option with some RPO elements, with some choice on the outside when it comes to with choice routes or option routes. So when you think about those three elements, is all it's going to do is put pressure on that safety. And then so when that safety comes down, then you're looking towards the perimeter. And then with the receivers that Colorado has, then it's like, all right, we can't bring that safety down. Well, if you have a light box, you've got Richard Young there, a traditional one-cut runner that's going to get it. You're going to freeze them with the mesh point motion. So when you freeze a linebacker and then you make a linebacker get flat-footed, and then you run Richard Young right at him. That's how I see him being used. Imagine a backfield where you've got, I don't know, let's go Richard Young and track out, and you have to prepare for the contrast between those two. Let's go a little further. We talked about using wide receivers in the backfield, a la Seattle, how they use Jackson Smith and Jigba this year. So imagine this: Cam Perry and Richard Young in the backfield together, and you freeze the outside linebacker with a flat motion for Cam Perry, and the up back Richard Young is straight through the A gap, or straight through the two. So from that perspective, I think it gives Colorado the advantage at that point, because everybody on that defense is thinking. And when you get people to think, and you have a guy who runs with that type of straight ahead motion, who can conjure up that type of force in such a short space, that's where I think you get the wins in this offense. So I definitely see him being a battering ram type back who can take it the distance. But I don't think it'll just be Richard Young. I think it'll be a running back by committee, and everybody will be happy. Go back and look at his UNLV teams, how many players were getting 50 touches or more. So he knows how to spread the wealth and keep everybody happy as well.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it with, like, we just watched the Super Bowl with Kenneth Walker, right? 5'9", 5'10"-ish, about 211. You got Richard Young that's going to be a little bit thicker than that. I mean, the possibilities there. Even watching his highlights at Alabama, you know that there's an opportunity that he can do something similar. But hey, I think that, like I said, this is a big pickup for Colorado. Kid's ginormous, and that's going to be a big centerpiece of what this offense should do next season, what Brennan Marion is going to want to achieve. So with that, let's talk about Prime. As Coach Prime went on First Take during the Super Bowl, actually right before the Super Bowl, and he kind of explained his positioning when it comes to possibly going to the NFL. We're going to continue our conversation with Dukes, but first, shout out to our partners here at Sleeper, the presenting sponsor of the channel. Make sure you go check them out, man. They got some of the best odds and options out there. And if you want to get into the daily fantasy side of things, use our promo code PRIMETIME. They'll match your first deposit at 100% up to $100. So they're hooking you up. All you got to do is go in there, pick 2 or more players, pick more or less on the stats, and boom, you're in the game. You can win up to 1,000 times your money. Turn these game days into paydays. And again, right now, they're going to give you $100 if they're going to match your first deposit up to $100. And I use it all the time, because not only is the Sleeper app for season long and daily, they also give you updates on the news. They let you pick different teams. They always got some sort of a boost going on. Like right now, if you jump in there for college basketball, or even hockey, pick 4 more players, they give you like a 40% boost. They've always got a big boost going on. So check them out. Use the promo code PRIMETIME. They'll match your first deposit at 100% up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to both. Deuce the Scoop over there at Deuce the Scoop here on YouTube, as well as follow him on the socials. Follow me at the Primetime CFB. You can also follow me on X as well at Primetime CFB. Duke, so yeah, Prime went on First Take, Stephen A. Smith and all of them, and they asked him, is there anything that could get you to jump to the NFL? And he said, not whatsoever. What transpired with my son last year, ain't no way in the world. Thought that was a fascinating take, because a few weeks back, Adam Pac-Man Jones, one of his guys, we talked about him all, in the green room. That man's a lunatic. But he came in and said, he said this to TMZ, I can see it happening, but me knowing Pop, it would have to be Cleveland. He's not going to go and coach against Shedeur. Knowing him, he wants to finish what he started in Boulder. Had a shitty season this year. I think he's staying where he's at. So, what Pac-Man is saying is based upon his conversations with Prime. The only way Prime goes is if he's going to coach Shedeur. The Browns just hired Todd Monken, so there's no chance of Prime even looking at that. But then Prime comes up this week and says, "Nah, not whatsoever. Not after what they did to Shedeur." What you think about that? Because I get him. I always try to tell people never say never, but I get that. That's basically Prime has said, he's like, he wants to coach college. He's never been interested in NFL.
Yeah, he never really wavered off that. I mean, he said the only way he was going to coach someone, he said this last year, I coach my boys. That's it. I think sometimes we think about things if it were us, what would we do, right? But this is a guy who's done it at so many levels, who's been successful. I mean, he literally coached me and Coach Marion. Actually, Coach Marion brought this up as one of the reasons that he respects Coach Prime so much. Is who else coached their son from little league to high school, HBCU, Power Four, and literally took him to the NFL. And I think that's one of those things where I feel like he feels called to do what he's doing now in college. And once that's over with, I think he wants to sit back and enjoy the show of watching Shedeur without having the stress of the NFL on his shoulders.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I could totally see that with Prime as well. His calling he's always said it's about helping shape the young men. And so going to the NFL, gets very much counter to that because you're dealing with grown men at that point.
Right.
And you're dealing with grown men attitudes. You got to, hope that they're going to be adults about it, but helping shape and guide young men to make the right decisions and do what they need to do. I get that's where his calling comes in. And so it makes sense that he shot that down so quickly. Like, I mean, he was like, nah, I ain't doing this. And it's funny because he mentions what happened with Shedeur and how he dropped. And, the story, the legend goes, and these legends continue to evolve over time, that, Shedeur in a way sort of kind of tanked his draft stock because he, tanked with certain teams in his interviews because he didn't want to go to those teams. And to me, it's like, I don't see why he would do that. But if that's how some of them feel, that he was too nonchalant about it, I guess. But he wants to play. Like, Todd Monken mentioned it when he walked in. He's like, hey, I wanted you. We tried to. And they reached out and he respectfully said, I really wanted a chance to play. So that's where, Cleveland came in there. And now Monken gets the guy that he wanted to see what he's about. Makes sense. But yeah, there was so many negative. It was so many 50-50 stories out there. Half of them was Shedeur's terrible and awful. And others were like, oh, he's probably one of the most gracious kids we met. So
right.
Either he didn't like your team or y'all just being hateful. But Prime not going to the NFL? Good. He needs to have a long, successful career at Colorado, which basically this year starts that up.
Yeah, I mean, I think this year kind of solidifies it. I think I think he's shown the potential. It's almost like when you show you can do something once, it lets you know that, okay, you're good. But great is when it becomes repeatable. So this is where you start to build cultures out or legacy, right? At Colorado, it's saying, all right, we did it twice and putting two back to back. So I think that what he's built already, even in his worst year, he left it better than what he got it.
That's true.
Even in his worst year, he picked it up a 1-win team. Even in his absolute worst year, he left it better than what he got it. So now you get to the point where you say, okay, all right, where do you go from here? Well, you've got all the tools. You changed a little bit of what you were looking for, your evaluation process. And I think the only thing better than process is adjustments. When you have a process in place and it's not working, what do? You have to be humble enough to say, all right, you know what? My way the way I saw it didn't work exactly. What do I change? And then having the courage to go change it in front of the whole world and say, all right, now try. All right, yeah, okay, all right, y'all hated on me about this. You didn't like it, cool. All right, now we're gonna do it this way. Now what? And I think now that's kind of where you see Colorado. And shoot, man, I like what I've seen so far from the videos from the pregame network with Uncle Neely. Reach the people with Darius and Bucky with Will Off. So I think they may have the right mix. It still remains to be seen, but I look forward to seeing what Colorado does this year.
Same. They've had some good content going out there, and you feel like they're trying to shape the culture in the right direction once again. So I guess my question would be, what would be an acceptable bounce back for Colorado this season? Like what would make everyone feel confident that they're back on track and going the right direction. Like, first year going from 1 win to 4, everybody's like, okay, that's progress. Let's see if they can build on that. And then they did. They add 5 more wins on top of that and get to 9. You're like, all right, this is real. But then the drop to 3, the question is 6 going to be enough? Does it need to be 8? Does it need to be 9? Like, where does that threshold that's going to make people feel like Prime is leading this team back to where they need to go?
It'll never be enough. Never.
Yeah, it's true. It ain't never enough.
If it was Colorado without Prime, I'd probably say you take that name off of it, and I'd probably say maybe 6, 7 wins. But with Coach Prime, it's never going to be enough. 9 wins wasn't enough last year. There were people that were literally waiting for his downfall, and people that can't wait to just say, "Hey, I told you so." And people that that even come under the guise of helping that still just can't wait to pile on them. So I think, I think you won't be able to sway public opinion when there are so many people that want to see you fail. But I think the question is going to be, what makes him feel? And I think, we got to get him this question. What's going to make him feel successful? And I think it's going to be less tied to wins and losses as it will be people doing it the right way. I think what messed Coach Prime up more than anything last year was the way they lost.
Yeah.
Some of the, like, if you could even hear it from the beginning losses, it was like, all right, we're right there. We're right there. One piece, this, one play. Let's fine-tune some things. And then going from fine-tuning to a complete makeover, what you needing a complete engine replacement, change the transmission. Like, you can have a car and you say, all right, well, I just need an oil change. I need this. But it gets to a totally different car when you got to replace the engine and the transmission.
That is
totally
very true.
different car. And I think that's what they ended up having to replace in Colorado. So, I just don't know if it's going to be a win kind of a win threshold that's going to sway public opinion. But I do know that the level of competition that Colorado exhibits, the competitiveness, the fight, not giving up, the body language, all of those things are going to matter this year. And I think if you see a more competitive and more focused Colorado team, then you'll see a happier Coach Brown.
No, I agree with you on that. And the biggest thing is going to be getting over the struggles on the road last season. Like, that was where you really saw the team feel like they were just overly disheveled, while at the same time, that was also kind of the key indication of why they went ahead and picked up this new coach in Brennan Marion, in which you had a good conversation with him. Go check that out over there at Deuce the Scoop. That video is dope. I'll make sure to put a link in the description below my video as well. And in the description, you got to go check it out because he's hitting on all the high points of what this team's going to do in order to make sure they bounce back. Okay, let's wrap up things. I want to talk a little bit of Super Bowl, man. Why not? It was Super Bowl Sunday. It just passed us. It was a great time. We're going to jump right into the Super Bowl. We're going to get back to this conversation with our guy Dukes, but first, shout out to Sleeper, presenting sponsor of the channel. Let's make a couple of picks here. So on the NBA side of things, they've got all kinds of promos going on. So like right now, free pick, you got Peterson right here in the college basketball side. NBA wise, we're going to do some NBA action. They got all the games that you're looking for here. All you got to do is pick 2 or more, pick more or less on the stats. Like we go to Oklahoma City here. You got Lou Dort, more or less here at rebounds. I'm definitely taking that. Give me LeBron to put up 27.5. We'll go more on the points and the assists. I'll definitely take Austin Reeves to do that with all 3 of them. But all you got to do is pick 2 or more, pick more or less on the stats, and boom. Turn your game day into payday. Use the promo code PRIMETIME. They will match your first deposit at 100% up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button if you are new to the channel. Subscribe if you're listening to any audio versions. Rate, review, give everybody 5 stars. Check out Duke the Scoop over there here on YouTube at Dukes the Scoop. Plus, follow him on all socials. Exact same name, Dukes the Scoop. Follow me at the Primetime CFB. And follow me on the socials as well. Dukes, I ain't gonna lie. Super Bowl was a great example of when you have really good defenses and bad quarterback play. That's exactly what it felt like in that game. But you got a W. Seahawks pulled that out. It was a defensive battle. Didn't think the Patriots was going to score, and then they made sure that they weren't going to be the only team in NFL history to get shut out. But I mean, the duel between Sam Darnold and Drake May, two quarterbacks that I would have never thought would be able to lead teams to the Super Bowl. You learn that defenses really can just carry you all the way. Like, there's no shade to both of them. They both played okay. But overall, no, it was those defenses what held it down, man. How'd you feel about that game?
Defense wins championships. I was talking to my son, and he always likes to root for the underdog and the younger players. And he was like, "Man, I want to see Drake May do it." And I was like, "All right." I said, "I respect that, son." And he asked me, "Well, who do you think is gonna win?" And I'm like, "Man, defense travels." So Seattle was lights out this year defensively. I recognized the amount of turnovers Drake May had in the playoffs, as well as how many times he had been sacked. And this is a recipe for disaster with a young quarterback with a rookie left tackle protecting his blind side against an opportunistic defense like Seattle. And I've watched them. I mean, I had them on my fantasy team, not even knowing they were going to be this prolific, but it was like they were putting up 30s and 40s, and once they got rolling, it's hard to beat that defense, especially with the 12. And the 12 traveled to the Super Bowl. They having that West Coast Super Bowl Boulder in their favor as well. So, yeah, look, I just think Seattle, the GM's done a great job of rebuilding that, getting back to the Super Bowl. What's that? That's their third Super Bowl in maybe 12 years or something like that, something crazy. And maybe 15, but still, way as a Falcons fan, it's like, bro, they might as well be living in the Super Bowl in comparison to us and actually winning, right? So, yeah, man, I just thought they did a great job defensively, and going forward, I think you're going to see more of that shift. If you can play defense and run the ball, I don't care what level you're on. If you run the ball and play defense and you do it better than the other team, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win. You got to run the ball and you got to play defense, because if you don't have to put the ball in the air, you take yourself out of harm's way. You saw multiple times Christian Gonzalez was this close to changing the game with interceptions. I mean, this close, game of inches, multiple times. So when you're able just to turn around, hand the ball off to Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, who was didn't have his running mate yesterday, right? Charbonnet, but still did his thing. But defensively, I mean, hell, the kicker could have got MVP. I think he had 5 field goals or some close to it.
Crazy. Yeah,
man. So now 1,000%, I think Seattle is poised to do it again, because they play such a simple brand of football where play defense, run the ball, and then when in doubt, throw it to probably I don't know how you don't say Jackson Smith and Jigba is the top receiver in the game today. I don't know who. I don't know how you. I mean, I love Justin Jefferson. I love Jamar Chase. I haven't seen a wide receiver that prolific win a Super Bowl. I'm not sure ever. Someone with those type of stats as a wide receiver. It's been a long time. I mean, now of course I'm thinking like not Jerry Rice, but I mean,
yeah. I'm talking about past him, because past him, typically, the good thing with Jackson Smith and Jigba is that he's a rook. He's young. He's only been in the league for a couple years, so he's still on his rookie contract. Let's put it that way. But when you usually go pick up and sign somebody, I mean, Cooper Kupp coming in there leading the way at 61 yards. It's hard to find, like I said, a prolific type wide receiver that goes out there and win a chip. It's a rarity. It's a rarity. Once they get paid, you ain't usually getting that. And so we'll see if Jackson Smith and Jigba can do that. But you're right. It's the fact that Kenneth Walker was able to carry the load like that, and then the kicker making 5 field goals, which is still bananas in this game, to win it, because it was all field goals up to the fourth. Just like the fourth quarter, everybody got tired and was like, man, I'm ready to get this over with. And then the defense started to lack. Then you start to see score and points get on the board. This is what everybody was hoping for. And that's why I say, like, the bad play was really all defense up until you got late in the fourth. And that's when you start to see, like, Drake May threw that one dime that was a touchdown, which was pretty good. But like you said, turnover prone, man. Like, they got him. And this Seattle team is the first one, I think, in NFL history to not turn the ball over in the playoffs, the entire postseason. That's wild that they were able to go and do this mistake free. I would have, if you would have told me that, I would say it's not possible.
Man, I remember playing some pickup basketball with some guys from Auburn's basketball team when I was in college. And I would, of course, I come from the N1 era, and I'm playing against some college players. So they any of that crazy stuff I'm doing, they ripping it, right?
Every time.
And then I had a guy, and he was just saying, "Hey, man, take care of the ball, man." I'm running the point, and I got all these 6'6" guys, and he threw me the ball hard as hell, and he said, "Take care of the ball, man." And it always stuck with me because I'm like, bro, all right, let me take care of the ball, right? Because we couldn't win as long as I was turning the ball over. And it's not like, it was like, all right, look, here's the ball, take care of it. Okay, cool. And then my mindset changed, and we run off wins because I did what? I took care of the ball. I stopped creating possessions for the defense and turning it where they could turn it into offense. It's the same, and that travels anywhere. Like, I don't care if it's football, basketball, baseball. Look, don't commit errors, right? Because errors cost you runs. Football, don't turn the ball over. Basketball, don't turn the ball over. So take care of the ball. And that's what Seattle was able to do in spades in the playoffs. You don't create extra possessions and that's why turnover margin, that's probably my favorite metric to find a win. Who got between that and time of possession? Usually read those tea leaves to find out who wins the game. Now, there are outliers and anomalies, but you can usually follow those two stats to find out who won a football game.
Yeah, and that's usually the one stat that determines it is what does your turnovers look like. Buffs dealt with that throughout the season and with some challenges, and you realize, okay, yeah, you turn the ball over, and especially if you turn the ball over in critical spots, you're probably going to end up losing the game. Like, it's a rarity to have a whole bunch of turnovers and still win. If you have a whole bunch of turnovers and still win, you got a stout defense.
Right.
I'll tell you that. Your defense was putting in work. And so in seeing that, it makes me think about the direction that quarterback play is going just in general. Sam Darnold going from team to team, being shipped around the way that he was, and finally finding a home. Well, we thought he had a home in Minnesota because he was balling out, but, the old Sam Darnold showed up. So everybody's like, yeah, I don't know how far I trust you as far as I can throw you.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, what happens? The man goes in and goes to Seattle, and we're like, Seattle, y'all probably should have kept Geno. Geno goes to the Raiders, looks like hot garbage. I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's the Raiders, something. But you get Sam Darnold up there, and he cooks. It's like Geno went up there and was cooking. He didn't have the defense like Sam's got this year. Sam goes up there, cooks, does everything you need to do to, like he said, not turn over the ball and cost games as much. Muggs, they win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and like I said, it goes back to my thought about quarterback play nowadays of how it takes more time. And actually it kind of leads me to the appreciation of Juju and his team saying, hey, we want a red shirt because we want to make sure that we have the maximum amount of years in college just in case to make sure we get the development properly, because that's what we're seeing in the NFL today is that quarterbacks need years before they can actually make this work. And Sam Darnold's a good example of that. Like, I mean, out of that draft class that he was in, you had him, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen. And he's the first one to go and win a Super Bowl. Crazy. As starting quarterback. Craziness. Would have never guessed.
He was the one to win.
Yes.
He was the one. Yeah, he was the number one, I think.
Yeah. No, I think, was it Baker? Baker was one, I think.
Baker was in that? Hold on, was they in the same draft?
I think so. Let me see.
Baker was definitely one.
Yeah, he was. Let me see where he was. He was third overall in the 2018 draft.
Wow.
Yup. Crazy, right?
Yeah, that's
it was draft. Baker. Sam Darnold was third. Josh Allen was seventh. Rosen was 10th.
Yeah.
And he didn't even in the NFL no more. He's out. He's a venture capitalist making money being smart.
His daddy was rich.
Yeah, he walked in there like that, right? And then Lamar is number 32.
Man, what a parting gift for Ozzie Newsome to the Ravens. But, hey, man, I tell you what, though, should have been happy for Sam Darnold, man, because they wrote him off.
They did.
They wrote him off.
I did. I'm going to be honest. But the thing is that our eyes did not deceive us. He was not good with the Jets.
Yeah, nah. I don't know if anybody would have been. I ain't seen, when the last time somebody, I'm starting to feel like,
good with
man.
The Jets? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, man, maybe it's them.
I'm actually trying to think, when was the last time they actually had a good quarterback in
Sanchez was all right that year. They went. I can't wait. That was Sanchez, right? At quarterback.
Yep.
Or was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Mark Sanchez. Like for real. Like who
For a year.
That's crazy. Now I think about it. I'm trying to figure out who was actually good for them.
Man, who was throwing the ball to Corbett?
So it wasn't Zach Wilson. Was it Wilson? Or was it Darnold?
Yeah, all of them, bro. To Wayne Corbett.
Wayne Corbett. Yeah, that would have been. See, that would have been either Mark Sanchez or before. Let me see.
That was way before Sanchez. Wayne Corbett would have been like.
That was early. Okay,
early,
he 95 to 05. 95, 05 was his 10 years. Who in the hell was throwing him the ball in those years?
Man, that's a good question.
Who was the 96 Jets? Let's go look at the 96 Jets. I'm pulling them up right now because that's actually a dang good question. Neil O'Donnell.
Okay.
He was one of the quarterbacks that was there. So they picked up
really started going crazy in like 99.
Yeah. See, let's go look at 99 Jets. Because you had Boomer Esiason that was also there in the mid-90s. Golly, that's just the thought of Ray Lucas.
Who?
Ray Lucas.
Ray Lucas. Yeah, he was a brother.
Yeah. Ray Lucas in 99. Yeah. 2000, your quarterback was Ray Lucas and Chad Pennington. That's when you went to Chad Pennington. Vinny Testaverde
was the last kind of consistent year-over-year quarterback for the Jets out of Marshall. Chad Pennington.
Yep.
That's who it was. Yep.
Chad Pennington.
Wow.
Yep. I think he made it 3 years there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was at the Jets for 7 years. That's Dolphins for 2. Yep. That's your quarterback. Golly. That's crazy.
That's tough, boy. That's tough, man. I feel for them, man.
I'm sorry, Jets fans, if any of y'all are here, man. I hope you're not, because I kind of really feel bad the fact that you had to look at this. Right, you had was it Zach Wilson? Well, we got Isaac Wilson's in Colorado, which is even more interesting. But you had Zach, you had Justin Fields this past year. It's just never been. I just don't understand how some teams are just this cursed. It like, how is it always this bad for Jets fans? Right? My bad, dog.
I'm finna go, man.
Duke said he got it right. Hey, make sure you check him out here on YouTube at Dukes the Scoop. Follow me at Prime Time for College Football. All right, man. We'll chop it up with each one of y'all. Friday next week, we'll have another video coming down. My bad, dog. Peace out.